Hello everybody out there, and welcome to another episode of the Talk That Talk Show with me, Barry Holmes. We are here for episode 257 of the Talk That Talk Show. And I just want to thank everyone out there that continues to tune into the show, whether you're on Facebook Live, whether you're on Instagram Live, whether you check this out on YouTube after I, get done with the live segment. But, again, the support that I continuously get from a week-to-week basis, it truly humbles me. And in a world of podcasting where there's so many podcasts to choose from, I'm just humbled that you guys want to spend a little time with me, especially on a Friday night. It was funny because my mom had asked me, she's like, so you're going to be recording today? And, for me to have people that, look towards this show and want to know when we're dropping an episode, it just makes me more and more motivated to come out here and record and give you guys a piece of my mind and what's going on throughout my world pretty much, and people like, Dan Harrison that's tuning in, people like my boy Brian Spawn who are constantly sending me, memes and different things that are happening. I just appreciate, people trying to give me content and giving me feedback on different episodes, and, it's just that support that really helps me to get each episode out there and to make sure it's at, highest quality and max capacity as far as intelligence and preparation, man. So, again, I think sometimes it's a little understated, just how much it takes towards making these episodes and, just how hard it is to, try and stay consistent and in an ever-evolving schedule. But, again, part of us being human is being able to hold ourselves accountable, and there's nobody, pretty much there's no consequence to not, putting up an episode or anything like that. So it's that continuous motivation within to go out there and hold myself accountable and put forth my best effort. That's what truly powers me, man. We got Dan that says, keep it up, man, you're unstoppable. I appreciate that, boy. And then my boy, it's Vic. Yo, what's up? I appreciate you, my brother. Thanks for tuning in. But, one of the things that when I was in the store working at Cloud9 that, we literally watched to kind of pass the time, and I'm sure a lot of other people watched, was a lot of Olympics, right? I'm actually kind of sad that the Olympics are over now. But, the Olympics definitely gave us a lot of great things and great, sporting events to choose from, but also some monumentous moments that we were able to be a part of, right? I think first and foremost, I would be obtuse to not mention my boy Noah Lyles, who, before the start of the Olympics, he kind of caught a lot of flack because he had made a statement saying that, the NBA players were, how can they say they're world champions? What are they world champions of? And I guess, I can understand where he's coming from because, when he's running his races, he's going against international competition. Now, even though the NBA is in America, I do feel as though, and I'm sure a lot of people can concur, that the NBA is some of the most best talent in all of the world, so you're having the collective of all these people from all these different places to come play in arguably the best league in the world. So, if you're playing in the best, league in the world, I could see where someone would say that they were world champions. But, from someone like Noah, who again is having this Olympic competition internationally, you can see where he's kind of flexing his collar and popping his chain a little bit. And I think that had he not won that gold medal in that first event, I think, it would have been a lot different for him. Now, I know he didn't get gold the second time around, but I think it does mean something when, you make a statement like that and you kind of stand on business, man. I think, pretty much the whole world was looking in to see if Noah could back up the words that he said. And sure enough, he did get a gold medal. But even through getting that gold medal, it seems like the one thing that people like to talk about is that did he fake the COVID or not, that he didn't win both gold medals, right? And you even saw the USA Basketball social media kind of picking at him and saying, hey, we only play for golds. But I think that the overall theme that kind of Noah Lyles represent to everyone else out there is just to stay humble, man. I think there's a reason why people love and respect Jerry Rice so much, because the man just went out on the field and did his business, and I think that at a certain level or a certain maturity, when you get to be an adult, not saying that Noah Lyles isn't an adult, because I got a confidence t-shirt on right now and I've been called cocky by some, but I think cocky and confidence are two completely different things. And someone in Noah Lyles' situation where he's feeling confident, he's feeling exuberant, and knows that he's the best runner in the world, maybe he could have translated that in a different way. But when you speak, obviously you're gonna have people out there listening, and you have to be receptive and be able to handle any criticism that's come your way when you say something like that. So I think that for everyone else out there that kind of saw everything that happened with Noah and how he won and then did not win the gold medal in his next event, it's just a reminder to just stay humble out there, man. Being humble is something that you just can't get it from the store, and oftentimes it has to you have to learn through experience to get that humbleness. Yesterday I had some of the greatest luck in NCAA and Madden, and then today I got humbled by my boy Jeff, who came out there and brought it to me on the sticks. No Diddy. But I think that again, whenever you're able to be humbled, and when you see something that doesn't go your way, you have to be able to handle that and move forward with it. I had a situation earlier this week where I was with TK, and we were struggling over at Linden Lanes. We've all expressed just how difficult that is, but I had a situation where I had a chance to potentially win the game if all I had to do was make a spare, and I literally make that spare 9 times out of 10 in my sleep. But I just didn't make it. It didn't go my way. And it was, just a slice of humble pie that, even though I could have had whatever success anywhere else, but, once you have that situation where, you have a chance and you don't follow through what you're supposed to, it's a tough feeling. Now, I remember, going in that parking lot being like, fuck, man, I gave this up, man. This was our one chance. And, I think that, again, humbling experiences aren't supposed to be fun, right? I think that even though something like that affected Noah Lyles and something like that with me, where we both had humbling experiences, the true testament of an athlete, the true testament of an adult, is how you respond to those negative experiences. So for me, I just know that next time out there when me and TK get a chance at Linden Lanes, just know I'm ready and I'm going to make the adjustments necessary. But I think, going beyond just Noah Lyles, one of the biggest stories of the Olympics was that USA basketball, both on the women's and the men's side. The men had a historic comeback against Serbia, because think about it. They had beaten Serbia by 20 plus points in the first round, and I just feel like they kind of thought that they were just going to be able to roll out of bed and beat these guys. But Joker played a great game. Bogdanovic played a great game, and hats off to him. But the Americans really showed just how elite we are and how they can turn it on. KD not only breaking the Olympic scoring record, but getting his 4th gold medal. I'm not a big KD fan, but you got to respect the guy's game. Whether he's going up for that pull-up, where he's taking you to the basket, whether he's lethal from behind the arc. KD is a generational talent. And I saw a quote that said that his mom wished he never left the Warriors, and I have to think, what if KD never left the Warriors? And I think that, again, a representation of that is just to see KD, LeBron, and Curry all on the same court at the same time, on the same team, right? I think this is something that, we probably will never get the chance to see again. But, to get LeBron James at an MVP caliber, just leading the team, being the Captain America. And I feel like, LeBron James, even though he did win this gold medal here, I think the bigger picture beyond just his athletic ability has just been how he's been able to kind of stay out of the negative light and just be a professional. I think that, a lot of times when we look at these athletes, it's easy to see like someone, fall off the rocker a little bit or get into trouble, or, you have a situation where they can't handle the fame. But you look at someone like LeBron James, who's been under the limelight since he was in high school and been able to carry that torch to now where he's literally carrying the Olympic torch representing our country. It's like, what more accolades does this guy really need to get, right? He's already a billionaire. He's already won a bunch of championships. I mean, at some point, we are going to have to understand that there's going to be basketball without LeBron James. And I'm just not ready for that, because I am a fan of watching him play the game. I think that for someone like him who's accomplished so much, they say, what is there left to play for? But when you truly love the game, that's where you see these players that has been able to, kind of cheat, father time. Even someone like Steph Curry, who arguably is going to go down as one of the best shooters of all time, his performance in the Olympics is, no short of stellar. I mean, to think that this was his first Olympic run is absolutely insane. And I think, again, something that you can take away from this is that, Steph Curry waited how many years to get his chance to get an Olympic crack at it, and he made the most of it. We never know when our big opportunity is going to come. You just have to be ready to take advantage of it. And I think that, Steph, like I said, put up, the shots that he was making, the one poster where he's shooting it over the outstretched arms of Victor Wembanyama. I've never seen such praise for a jump shot poster, right? But again, Steph Curry changed the game, and I was just appreciative to watch him, KD, LeBron James, all on the same team, man. Olympics were dope. And on the women's side of things, we got to see an absolute great performance. I think, the women's have had, almost like decades-long streak of where they haven't lost a single international game. And I think that's a testament to just how great Diana Taurasi has been over the years. I think she won her 5th gold medal. Even though she didn't play a huge role in this Olympics, I think oftentimes leadership doesn't always have to be from on the court. Just the experience of how to train like a professional, how to act like a professional. That's something that the intangibles that I think Taurasi brought. But when it came to on the court, A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart are absolute dogs. Anybody that says women do not have the same talent as men, I would love to see you go try and guard A'ja Wilson on the post, or go on an island with Kelsey Plum and see if she doesn't break your ankles, right? The women are just elite. Even though they had a little bit of a scare, going up against France in that final game, Gabby Williams started going crazy for them. But I truly think that, the women's game is very entertaining. And even though, again, the USA women's won every single game, it's just something different about the way they play the game, the enthusiasm. It's a joy to watch, man. So, hats off to the men's and the women's side of the Olympics. That was my main thing that I really loved about that. But, the one thing that, seems to continue to get traction as one of the worst things that we've seen ever was that Olympic breakdancing. And just one person in particular, the Australian breakdancer. I think the toughest part about it is, like, outside of her, the other breakdancers were really good. Like, if you watched, outside of just those clips that you've seen from the Australian woman, those breakdancers were really good. And I feel like, for breakdancing as a whole, I'm not involved in that community, but it seems as though that there's a big enough demand for it to where it was on an Olympic pedestal. But it's just crazy, like, how one person can ruin it for everyone, right? So now in LA, we are definitely not going to have the Olympics return in 2028. And unfortunately, you're going to have to look at that Olympic breakdancer from Australia and say, hey, it's largely her fault. Because when you looked at this woman rolling on the ground, there was no skill to this. I could have went out there and did that. I could have been the 14th best Olympic breakdancer in the world from Edison, New Jersey, if that were the case. But unfortunately, because of events like breakdancing, we now cannot have bowling. How many times are we going to get passed up for the bowling as an Olympic sport? We got flag football, we got squash, for Christ's sake, but we just can't get bowling. It doesn't make sense to me. But moving forward past that, UnHoly tournament is something that, again, I talked about previously, but, it's a tournament at Battle Bowl that, I always look forward to every single year. It's really a true test of, where are your skills at? We go out to Delaware. It's a great tournament held by the UBA, and you get to be on a team with different franchises, right? Every person on your three-person team has to be from a different UBA franchise. And really, it's just a dope experience where you get to meet and see a lot of different people that you don't normally see in your divisions, people from different states all over different areas. And it's those experiences that make the UBA what it is, man. I remember there was a lot of hoopla on the social media about Anthony Simonson bowling, and then eventually when I show up, this guy's bowling on my pair. I actually had to line up against the guy, and for those that don't know, he's one of the best bowlers in the world. Shout out to Anthony Simonson, because we see him on TV, but seeing him in person and just talking to him, he was just a very humble guy. I think the biggest thing that I took away from it was that there's a huge fucking skill gap between those people that are on TV and what we are as regular bowlers, man. The things that I couldn't figure out, he already knew to do. And, it's just more motivation, man, that, hey, you could be in the same environment as these people, but, you can't get starstruck. You got to go out there and get it done. I think that experience alone was very valuable to me. I have not cashed at UnHoly yet. Me and TK had our best chance last year before he got re-rated. But it's just a tough tournament. But I don't want the lack of money that I've won to detract away from what was taken away in that tournament. I think, and I've talked to TK about this a while, but in years past, I would just try solely just to go out there and win money. We're trying to, bowl well to win money, cash out, get to the pay window, right? But I feel like, my motivations have translated over these past couple months because, I found myself not getting to as many pots and just focus on trying to get better as a bowler, man. I think that at times, when you're constantly, putting that pressure on yourself, you kind of get into bad habits because you don't want to lose that money, as opposed to, just going out there, putting your best shot forward and living with the results. So I've seen that my average has gone up just in terms of, focusing on having fun, focusing on shooting the right shots, and living with the outcome, man. I think that UnHoly was another great opportunity to try out some new equipment that I got. If anyone's looking for a great symmetrical ball that has some great down lane motion, you definitely are going to have to check out that Hammer Hazmat Solid. Brandon Burwell, big shout out to him in the Crib Pro Shop. If you're struggling with carry, if you need yourself lined up, hit him up. He can lace your ball up real well. Big shout out to him for, hooking me up with drilling that Hazmat Solid. But that ball worked out well for me. I found that, I could give it some rev. I could throw it with some speed, and it still recovered back for me. So I was just really happy with, my performance over this weekend, even though I did not win any money. The biggest thing is just going out there and trying to be consistent and, putting your best foot forward. A lot of times people are comfortable being where they are and don't like to challenge themselves. But if you don't, you're not going to progress or get any progress in the right direction. So, that's what I try to do every single day, man. Just try and move in the right direction and go from there. And I think one of the biggest things, talking about that we have to talk about for sure is going into this next UBA season, because right after Battle Bowl and after UnHoly, you got a couple weeks and then you're right back into the UBA season. I was talking with the council, and as a captain, I remember I was saying something to him like, I wish I could say this to the team. And Strike Tyson said to me, he was like, Barry, you're a captain. Why do you need permission to speak to the team? And I was like, you're right, man, you're right. And I just remember saying as my message to the team, because in the last season or seasons prior, we've struggled with availability. Guys saying that they want a bowl, guys saying that they want to be a part of this movement, and then when the time comes, they're nowhere to be found, right? Everybody has things to do. I think that when you look at some of the better teams that are in our UBA, in our division, they got depth. And anytime that you see that they're bowling, they got guys on the carpet just in case people aren't ready to, or people aren't performing, and they're ready to go to sub in. And I just feel like, with our team, if we can get that availability early and just hit the ground running, I think that's going to be a huge part. And one of the things I had said to them is that, in life, we make time for the things that we want. And, our schedule isn't always going to be optimized. I know this personally, trying to, balance having a life and doing this podcast. But, eventually there comes a point in time where you have to make a sacrifice, and you have to, make some time for those priorities. And if we have the aspirations that we do towards making the playoffs and trying to be better than we were last year, like CJ said, we're gonna have to dig deep within each other and really elevate. I've really tried to work on my craft, updated my equipment, just working on different things, going to different houses, adding different tools to the tool belt. Everything, adds to the confidence, man. And I think that, moving into this next season, not only just UBA wise, but just regular season wise, I'm just excited to put forth all the things that I've learned this summer, to move forward into the season. I think that a lot of people, in the summertime, they don't use that time to work on their game. They use that time to just go in leagues and just try and make more money. And again, like I talked about, if you're not doing different things or trying or experimenting or practicing different things, you're going to go into those same routines and those same bad habits. And, that's just not what I'm trying to do going into this next season. So, big shout out to TK, big shout out to my brother. I'm excited to be bowling with them on Monday nights, and then excited to bowl with Pops and Tori again on Thursday night for the family team. It's going to be tough to beat the season that we had last season, where you win the state tournament, you win a league championship. That's something that people don't do in their entire careers, so I just want to stay motivated, keep our nose to the grindstone, stay confident, and the best will happen. I think this is going to be a career year. I'm excited, and I think that's the biggest thing here, is just trying to again stay motivated. I see a lot of times where see guys that have high averages, and almost in a way they lose that fun for the game. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just here to say that no matter how good that I get, or no matter how many score I shoot, I'm never gonna not enjoy the process. I'm never gonna not enjoy the game. So, for those people out there that are struggling in whatever respective game that you're in, or whatever respective profession you're in, just try to find some goodness and try to find fun in it. Make it fun again, and hopefully you'll be able to try and get the results that you're looking for. But I think that one of the biggest things that I got coming up in literally less than an hour and a half is this fantasy football draft. Big shout out to everybody that's in the Talk That Talk Show Fantasy Football League. We were able to get 14 teams this year. $100 entry free, $700 going to first place. Sheesh. We better make sure we're making those picks right. It's going to be a great draft. But a lot of people ask me, what's your draft philosophy? Do you go wide receiver first, or do you go running back? I had the luck of being able to get some high draft picks last year, and I remember going with Christian McCaffrey. He was a great option because the guy's a touchdown machine. It just seems like he's always getting a touchdown, especially in the run-heavy offense that is the San Francisco 49ers, and his ability to catch the pass out of the backfield. For those PPR leagues, you cannot go wrong getting a guy in, Christian McCaffrey. And I think the days are gone where you automatically go with the best wide receiver in the game. Because definitely with Justin Jefferson being out there, I don't think you're going to see a lot of people taking him at number one, with them losing J.J. McCarthy as well, too, for the season already. So with questions at the quarterback position, I just don't know that Justin Jefferson is the obvious pick if you're going for a wide receiver. For me, if you're talking about wide receivers, I definitely got to put Tyreek Hill at the top of that list. That man can take the top off of a defense in any time. And I think another interesting target to look for would definitely be Stephon Diggs, man. Him going over to Houston, where you got a quarterback and C.J. Stroud who's only getting better. I think, if you have Stephon Diggs still on that board and you're sitting at 4 or 5, I would definitely take him if I were you. And then another one that I would say when it comes to wide receivers, oh man, I know that a lot of people, I lost with them playing as the Rams, but I think Puka is going to have a big year again, man. I think having a healthy Cooper Kupp alongside with him for the entire season will only help him to get more touches and more catches. So I think Puka is going to be some guy that's going to definitely slide to the second round. But if you get a chance to grab him, I would totally grab him. And then for quarterbacks, it's going to be interesting because, Lamar Jackson is obviously a guy that people are going to want to get because he can run the football. Josh Allen. But Josh Allen lost a lot of his weapons, so I don't know that he's going to be that top-tier quarterback that he was in the past couple years. You got a lot of uncertainty throwing to a rookie guy. It's going to be interesting to see what Josh Allen can do from the quarterback position, especially if I'm a guy drafting, because, I think in previous drafts, you have seen Josh Allen go as high as the third round, even in second round. But, I think that this year, do you see a Patrick Mahomes go as high? Because he's definitely bolstered up his weapons, getting Xavier Worthy, getting Hollywood Brown. I know Hollywood Brown's hurt, but he's going to come back eventually. So I know Patrick Mahomes is a great option. I know it's going to be a great option to get Lamar Jackson. But if I'm looking for another quarterback, I think one that we're definitely not going to want to overlook that might slide down a little low is definitely Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love has proven himself on the highest of stages. He's proven to be someone that has learned from being behind Aaron Rodgers, and I think he elevates that Packers team. So I think that when you're looking for sleeper quarterbacks or quarterbacks that aren't necessarily those top 4 or 5 that you think are going to rally off, I would totally look in the direction of a Jordan Love, maybe even a Geno Smith. Geno Smith, even though the Seahawks didn't necessarily have their best year, I think Geno's a guy who's shown he can pass the football, and you can get off if you literally have made nothing but position player picks in those first 7 or 8 rounds. I could see a Geno Smith sliding all the way down 8th, 9th round, and you can slide him up. A lot of people are sleeping on Joe Burrow as well too. I know he's had injuries, but again, you can't underestimate, especially at this stage in the summer, when drafting these teams. You know, you got to take a lot into perspective, but it's going to be a great draft, man. And I think the perfect quote to end this show that kind of, you know, relays back to this whole draft that I got going on at 9 p.m. is, it was a quote that I saw on just scrolling. I was just scrolling on the beach today, and I saw one that said, risk is always better than regret. Risk is always better than regret. And I totally agree with that, because I would rather, you know, risk it for the biscuit, like they say, and find out what could have happened, rather than live my whole life thinking what might have happened. Because I'll say this, if you play the what if, shoulda, woulda, coulda game, you'll drive yourself insane. But so many times we in our minds psych ourselves out from taking that risk, taking that jump, and you never know what could have happened from there. So I'm just here to say, guys, risk is always better than regret. Whatever you're maybe indecisive about doing, if there's something that you've been working towards, but you're not necessarily sure whether you want to go through with it, fuck it, just do it. You got nothing to lose. And at the end of the day, if you risk it, sometimes you just might find out that risk is going to be worth it. And I would rather find that out than think about what could have happened, because I never took that risk. Like Jordan said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I'm here to tell y'all guys, risk it, all right? Don't be afraid to take some risks out there. And that's all for here at the Talk That Talk show. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you if you're tuned in on Facebook Live, on Instagram Live, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, you name it. We're on all streaming platforms. If you get a chance, go check out Cloud9 Dispensary on Route 22 in North Plainfield, New Jersey. You can catch me there most weekdays from 8 to about 4 p.m. I'm always shooting stuff for Barry's Corner there, but you know, they've done a great job in terms of giving me opportunities and supporting me in all of my different ventures. So always want to give them a big shout out. Check out that Hollywood if you get a chance, yo, because I'll say this, I picked it up before I left on Thursday, and me and Doc were really enjoying ourselves and couldn't believe just how enjoyable that strain was. So if you get a chance, check out that Hollywood over at Cloud9. I love you all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Check us out on our website at talkthattalkshow.com. I love you all, and I will see you all next week.